Have you ever looked at someone and thought, wow, nothing seems to get to them? They lose relationships, miss opportunities, get criticized, and yet they stand tall, unshaken. And then there's you. You keep smiling through the storm, but inside, it hurts. The silence hurts. The criticism lingers. The betrayal cuts deep, even when no one sees it. It's exhausting, isn't it? You've built walls, worn masks, tried being strong. But here's a question no one dares to ask. What if being untouchable isn't about being strong at all? What if it's about being whole? Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist and founder of analytical psychology, believed that true strength doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from understanding it, from integrating the parts of yourself you've spent years trying to silence. This video is for the version of you that's tired, not weak, not broken, but tired of pretending to be okay when you're not. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to stop chasing control and start seeking clarity, because nothing and nobody can hurt you like the pain you refuse to face. But once you do, everything changes. Let's begin. We often think it's people who hurt us. What they say, what they do, how they leave. But here's a hard truth. What hurts isn't the event. It's what the event awakens inside of us. Someone criticizes your work, that only cuts deep if there's already a part of you that doubts your worth. Someone betrays your trust, that only burns if you've already been burned before. And the wound never healed. This isn't about blame, it's about awareness. Carl Jung believed that pain is a mirror. What you react to most in the outside world reflects what's unresolved within. A breakup doesn't just hurt because someone left. It hurts because of what it echoes. The fear of abandonment. The story you tell yourself, I'm not enough. Let me share a story. A client of mine, let's call her Linda, was devastated when her closest friend ghosted her after years of friendship. She couldn't move on. She kept asking, why would she do this to me? But as we dug deeper, the real pain wasn't her friend's silence. It was her mother's silence, child's silence during Hood. A pattern repeated. The pain wasn't just recent. It was ancestral, emotional, hidden. And that's the key. Pain that lingers usually isn't fresh, it's familiar. What really wounds us is unintegrated memory, trauma unspoken, feelings unacknowledged. Until we confront those emotional residues, we remain hypersensitive, easily shaken, overreactive, and worse, we believe the only way to stop hurting is to control the world. But control is a myth. Many of us think, if I'm just good enough, no one will hurt me. If I'm kind enough, smart enough, calm enough, unoffensive enough, we try to earn emotional safety, but that pursuit is a trap. Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Here's what that means. You think you're choosing how to live, but if you're driven by unconscious fears, you're reacting, not choosing. You're not dating freely. You're avoiding abandonment. You're not speaking up. You're avoiding rejection. You're not resting. You're avoiding being seen as weak. The more you try to protect yourself from pain, the more pain ends up controlling you. Take the example of James, a successful architect. Outwardly, he had it all: awards, praise, respect. But inside, he was terrified of disappointing others. He never said no. He stayed in draining friendships and avoided conflict. Why? Because as a child, he was taught that love was conditional. Success had become his shield, until he burned out. Real freedom only came when he let go of needing to be perfect and allowed himself to be real, vulnerable, seen. So no, you don't need more armor, you need more awareness.
Your unconscious isn't some mystical concept. It's real, and it runs your life. It's every memory you buried, every emotion you ignored, every part of you that says, this hurts, and never got an answer. And here's what's scary. The unconscious doesn't stay quiet forever. It screams through anxiety. It whispers through self-sabotage. It hides in toxic relationships. Jung called it the shadow. If we don't face it, it controls us. Picture this. You walk into a room and someone's offhand comment ruins your entire day. Why? It wasn't about them. It was about what they triggered. A wound you didn't know was still raw. Jung said, "We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses." That's why healing isn't about fixing, it's about facing. This might mean therapy, it might mean journaling, it might mean sitting in silence and asking yourself, where is this pain really coming from? But whatever you do, don't suppress it. Unseen pain becomes your identity. Once seen pain becomes your teacher. Jung coined a powerful term, individuation. It means becoming who you truly are, not who others want you to be or who you think you should be. And here's the twist. That doesn't mean becoming better. It means becoming whole. You don't need to fix your flaws. You need to embrace them. You don't need to hide your fears. You need to understand them. Real emotional strength isn't coldness, it's integration. Think about someone like Mia, a school teacher who battled social anxiety for years. Instead of pretending to be confident, she started acknowledging her fear with her students. And instead of losing respect, she earned trust. Her honesty was her strength. Her vulnerability became connection. Jung said, "You do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." You don't become untouchable by numbing pain. You become untouchable when you no longer fear what's inside you. Because once you've faced your own shadow, nothing outside can scare you. What if pain wasn't a punishment, but an invitation? We're taught to fear suffering, to silence it, avoid it. But Jung saw it differently. He said, depression is like a lady in black. If she turns up, don't shoo her away. Invite her in, offer her a seat and listen. Pain is the soul's alarm. When something hurts, something inside is asking for your attention. You're not weak because you feel. You're not broken because you cry. You're human, and healing requires feeling. Even mourning is a sacred act. It clears space. When old beliefs die, when toxic ties break, when parts of you fall apart, it isn't the end, it's the beginning. Think of kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold. The cracks aren't hidden, they're on.
What if your wounds weren't flaws to hide, but stories to highlight? Here's what no one tells you. The world doesn't stop hurting just because you've healed. But something does change. You're no longer at the mercy of it. Because once you understand your triggers, your wounds, your history, you stop drowning in every wave. Clarity becomes your protection. Not walls, not pride, not armor. You don't need to win every argument. You don't need to prove your worth. You just know who you are. That's emotional immunity, not coldness, consciousness. And yes, it can be lonely at first. Not everyone will come with you on this journey. But solitude isn't suffering. It's space for depth, for truth. So let's go back to the beginning. You wanted to stop being hurt, to stop feeling like others had power over you. Now you know. The answer was never to be stronger. It was to be truer. Carl Jung taught us that healing isn't about removing pain. It's about transforming it. And when you stop resisting who you are, nothing outside can control you. So today, choose clarity. Choose to meet yourself honestly. Not once, but every day. Because in the depths of your shadow lives the light you've been looking for all along.